Hello everyone and welcome to How to Work at Home Transcribing. Thank you for joining me and I hope you get a lot out of this webinar this morning. So before we get started, there's just a little bit of housekeeping. This webinar should last about 30 minutes with a question and answer session at the end. If you're having any problems during the broadcast at all, or you want to have something repeated or ask a question, please put it in the chat box and my VA Bridget will help you with any problems that you might be having. There's also a box for your questions, so please put your questions in there and Bridget will have them ready for me to address at the end of the webinar. Thank you again for joining us and let's get started. So you've joined us because you are interested in finding out about what it takes to start transcribing at home. During this webinar, I will be going over the equipment you need, the types of software that we use, and what it takes to transcribe from home. But first, just a little bit about me. That always gets me, that little bit. I've been transcribing for nearly 30 years in lots of different industries. I've worked in construction, accounting, media, medicine, and healthcare. I also have a master's in healthcare administration, so I've really specialised in this area, but it's not my only area of expertise. For 13 of those years, I have worked at home as a transcriptionist. And boy, am I tired. I couldn't resist this little one. But this brings me to my next important point about the shortage of transcriptionists. And let me explain. I had an ad on my website advertising for transcriptionists wanted for about 9 months, and I was really surprised by the response. I got one applicant. So this made me start to think, what are people's views about transcription and why aren't I getting any applicants? And this is what I discovered. People think that transcription is dead, that voice recognition is taking over, and that the language in transcription is just too complicated and too hard to learn, particularly if you're transcribing in medical or legal. It just seems too complicated and people just think it's going to be too hard. And that transcription is boring. Now, I'm not going to lie, there can be some boring aspects to transcription, but it can also be extremely interesting depending on what industry you work in. For example, I know transcriptionists who work for Netflix and Foxtel and get to do the transcripts for shows like Walking Dead and new release movies. So they get to see them before anyone else, and they produce the captions for those shows. And I love Walking Dead. So that is far from boring. It is possible to start transcribing from home and make a lucrative living without the hassle of traffic or commuting to work. It's flexible around family commitments and you can work as much or as little as you like in the hours that suit you. I've been doing it for years and I want to teach you how to do it so you can create the life that you want. You can get started faster than you think, for less cost than you think, and take on as much or as little work as you want. Trust me, the work is there waiting for you. So let me ask you a few questions. How many clients do you think you need to make a sustainable income equivalent to a full-time income? Just 2. 2 clients. And the reason for 2 is that if one drops off for whatever reason, they may lose their contract or decide to use a different service, you still have 1 client to keep your cash flow going while you look for another client to replace the one that's just finished. Trust me, 2 clients will give you more work than you can handle. I've been sending work back because I physically can't do it. Okay, next question. How many hours do you think you need to work a day to make the equivalent of a full-time income? Example, we're looking at an 8-hour day plus commute. 5. Just 5 hours. And these are 5 hours of transcription, not 5 digital hours. Digital hours are the amount of time recorded to dictate, while transcription hours are the amount of hours you actually spend typing. So there's a big difference, and I go into a bit more detail about this later. So instead of commuting to work, you can spend those hours actually working and making money rather than spending money getting to work. For example, I often work from 5 in the morning, and then from 7 till 8 I get the kids ready for school, and then after 9 I'm back at the keyboard until lunchtime, and then I'm done for the day. My afternoons are my own. And this is the dream: the flexibility, the opportunity to earn as much or as little as you can handle, and it is possible. So let's move on to what it takes to start. And the first thing we'll take a look at is equipment. So what is the minimum that you need to get started? First, an important word about laptops. Do not use laptops to transcribe. I cannot stress this enough. They are not designed for long-term repetitive typing at the rate and length of time that you will be spending doing it for your income. You can use them as your hardware, but you must connect an external keyboard to the laptop to use for transcription purposes. Your hands and the tendons in your hands will give up faster than an ice cube in the desert if you use a laptop day in and day out to transcribe from. You need to take good care of your hands and wrists if you want to do this for any length of time. There are so many options when it comes to keyboard. So look at every option and go and actually try them out for yourself. Choose one that is going to suit you and your needs. The strain on your hands and tendons cannot be underestimated, and it's crucial that you choose a keyboard that will help protect these valuable assets. Some people like the hard-to-touch keys, while others like the soft touch. But be choosy. Test them out. It's going to be doing a lot of work for you and taking care of your hands. So make sure you choose one that suits your needs and the ergonomic setup of your office space. Along with the hardware, there is also some software to consider. There are numerous formats that dictation recordings come in, and each format is recorder dependent. DSS, DS2 and MP3 are just a few of the audio formats that you will come across as a transcriptionist. The format of the transcription is dependent upon the client preference and what they choose to dictate on. There are two main players in the recorder space, Philips and Olympus, but there are many mobile apps for dictation now as well, and these all use different audio formats. So it's critical that you have the ability to transcribe multiple file types. Along with these, there is one more critical piece of hardware you will need and you cannot do without. That is your foot pedal. The foot pedal is used to control the audio functions by your feet while your hands are free to continue to transcribe. The foot pedal controls the fast forward, rewind, and stop functions. Now, some foot pedals come with their own transcription software, which is a cost saving, but not all do. So be careful which one you choose. They connect to your computer via USB and are usually really easy to install. Now, they do come in all different types and sizes. Some have 2 controls, while others have 3. It's really up to you and your personal preference on how you work, whether you get the 2 or 3 control pedal. But you must have a pedal to transcribe effectively and efficiently. Some people think they can get away with the keyboard options to control the audio, but trust me, this is not a long-term solution. You can in an emergency, but long-term, this doesn't work. It slows you down by at least 25% and puts extra strain on your fingers, which is not good for your hands. And in the longer term, it's just not a good idea. Invest in a good pedal. They are not very expensive, and you will save in the long run and increase your earning capacity. Okay, so let's talk about another piece of software. I love software. Dropbox. Dropbox is used widely across lots of different industries. It's a cloud-based file storage system. Oh, we love the cloud. And it can handle large size files. Oh, I can never get that right. Dictation files can be quite large and they don't email well. And Dropbox is a great solution for this. It's free to set up and you get quite a deal of space. It's important to set up your folders well in Dropbox, and this is something I cover in the course as well. Now, a note of caution. Check your local laws regarding the electronic transfer of medical information, because this is private and sensitive information, and some governments have insisted that this information be encrypted when being transferred electronically. However, the onus is not on you. It belongs with the person who instigates the transfer of information. That is, if the consultant or company you are working with is comfortable to send that information via Dropbox, then they are liable for the safety of that information. This is one of the reasons that large healthcare organisations and hospitals will not outsource their transcription, as they cannot guarantee the safety of the medical data. So if your client is okay with it, go ahead, and love Dropbox as much as I do. Again, there's a lot more information about Dropbox in the course. Now let's talk about another piece of software, shortcuts. And I actually jumped ahead on the slide then, sorry about that, never mind. Macros is one of the most underutilized tools in the Microsoft toolbox. Macros are fantastic to use for phrases that are used over and over again. And the more you do transcriptions, especially if you work closely with one client, you will notice that they say one thing over and over. And this is where macros can save you over 30% in typing time. If you're not familiar with macros, take a closer look at them next time you're in Microsoft Word. I do have a workshop on how to create them in my course. It's all about saving time. And we all want to save time. And I go into lots more detail in my course about how you can cut your typing down so you can either get more clients or just work less to earn the same amount, or sometimes more, than you're earning now. Transcribing at home can do this for you. It has many benefits. It's flexible, you can work around your family, and you can choose your own days off, especially if you want to attend events at your child's school, family occasions. You get to dictate your schedule. This is doable. I promise you. I've been doing this for years, and enjoying the benefits it's given me and my family. It's possible, and my course goes into a lot more detail than I have today to show you exactly the steps to set yourself up and get clients. I've been doing it for many years, and I want to teach you how you can benefit from the flexibility that transcribing at home can give you and your family. So what's included in my course? I'm glad you asked. You'll learn a lot more about the equipment you need. I go through each model of pedal thoroughly and give you my recommendations for what I think is the best pedal. I go into more depth about the software packages for transcription, and you get my secret recommendation for software that cuts your typing time in half. I go into a lot more detail about voice recognition. Voice recognition takes weeks to set up effectively, and specialists and consultants' time is so valuable that they just do not have the time to spend weeks setting up this software. Also, voice recognition can only cope with single voice. So if there is more than one voice recorded in courts or tribunals or research transcripts, for example, voice recognition cannot cope in that environment. So there is still lots of opportunity for work, and at the moment, very few to actually do it well. But for you, voice recognition can be the beast that you tame to assist you to get lots more done, and I'll show you how. Most importantly, I show you how and where to find clients. And no, it's not Fiverr or Upwork or Odesk, whatever they're calling themselves these days. You never ever want to do transcriptions for those sites. I give you my email template that I use when I've been looking for clients, so you are free to use that to send to clients that I help you find and identify as a good fit for you. But that's not all. You will also get to meet other transcriptionists and people like you who are starting out in our Facebook group. This group is filled with fellow transcriptionists, which is great for you because they often have overload work and are looking for people to help out. This is a great way to start your transcription career and gain experience and references. This opportunity is invaluable and is only available to those who do my course. Our philosophy is collaboration, not competition. Transcription used to be very competitive, But times have changed, and now we all work together to get the job done, and you can benefit from this collaboration in all sorts of ways. So, what is the cost? I'm glad you asked. I have a special price for everyone who attended the webinar today. Usually, the course is $297, but because you've shown such a great interest in transcribing, I have a special deal for you today. The special webinar price is $147, and there are unannounced bonuses within this price. I really hope that you will join me in the course and take advantage of the shortage of transcriptionists that we are feeling now. There is plenty of work, and I can show you what you need and how to secure clients, and you will be supported by others on the same journey in our Facebook group. Classes start 9 January 2017, and you can secure your enrolment at this low price today. Have your holiday season and start the new year on a new career path that offers you flexibility and the earning potential that you choose. Here's a link to join up in the course, and I'll also put it in the chat box. Places are strictly limited, so I can give all students the attention they deserve. So I urge you to secure your enrolment by signing up today and begin the course with me in the new year. I hope you enjoyed this webinar and learned a bit about what it takes to set up to be a transcriptionist at home. Thank you so much for your time. I know how valuable it is. Now, Bridget, is there any questions? Let's just see. I'm just dropping that link in the box. Okay, so here's a question. How many modules are in the course? At the moment, there are 5 modules, and there's also some bonuses as well. So really, each module costs you just under $30, which is a pretty good investment for the size of the modules. Each module has about probably 8 or 9 different sections in it, so they're pretty thorough. Another one, how long do I have access to the course material? 12 months. So you've got 12 months to complete it. And how long will it take to complete? Oh, okay. So I would suggest a module a week is a good place to start, and that's probably a good pace. But some modules are not as complex as others, so you can pace yourself. You should really be able to finish the entire course within a month or so, give or take. Oh, here's an interesting one. So, okay, so I'm not a fast typist, but can I still make enough transcribing? Yes. And I show you lots of shortcuts in the course that you can apply to increase the speed you can produce transcribed copy. It's really not as hard as you think, I promise you. Also, if you want to get faster, practice always increases speed. And when I was starting out, I used to volunteer to do work for students. I worked for chocolate, honestly. I worked for chocolate. But it was great because I did all these theses and essays for students, and my speeds, really picked up. Okay, so how much does it cost to set up everything I need? I guess that means for equipment and stuff. So it's really not as much as you think. So foot pedals are available for under $150, and software packages for transcriptions are usually under $100. So allow about 300 tops, which is pretty low cost to get started in a business that you can control from the get-go. Here's another one. Okay, I think this is our last question now. Will I have access to all of the course at once? Yes, you will. All of the course materials are in one place, and you can go at your own pace. So it's not a dripped course. It will all be there for you, so you can jump around from one module to the other if if that's what suits your learning best. So, okay, that seems to be all the questions for now. Don't forget, you can email me if you think of something else, or join my Facebook group at Strictly Transcription on Facebook. And that's not the private group of transcriptionists, but that's my general Facebook group. So thank you, everyone, and I really hope to see you inside the course. Have a great day from Brisbane, and I'll talk to you again soon.